The best business exits don't just happen, they're designed years in advance. Most entrepreneurs think that a business exit is something that happens at the end of a business venture, but that just leads to disappointment and low valuations. The truth is that the best entrepreneurs are designing their business exits way before they speak to any business buyer. So an exit is not something that happens at the end, it's something that you design and engineer from now. So if you want to design your business for a great exit, click the link in the description and we can have a conversation on how you can exit for maximum value. So how long does it take for you to design your business for a great exit? Ideally, it should take about 1 to 3 years before you want to sell. Now, that doesn't mean that if you want to sell in the next 6 to 12 months that you can't do a few things to make your business a lot more attractive. There are things that you can do. But the reason why you want to work on your business 1 to 3 years in advance is because you can then design your business and show a track record and proof that your business, which is being run in its engineered form, is also successful. Remember, the number one thing which is going to be driving your business valuation is the ability of you to show any buyer that this business can run without you and it can run successfully and to continue to achieve the growth and the track record that's achieved in the past. And the only way to do that is to show that in the accounts. So when you can show a certain amount of revenue, a certain amount of growth, a certain amount of profit, a certain amount of margin that your business is producing in the accounts 1, 2, or 3 years in advance, that is going to give a business buyer a lot of confidence that what they are paying for is something that they are going to actually receive post-exit. Remember, a business buyer is not making an emotional decision here. They're making a mathematical investment decision on your business. So as long as you can engineer your business in that way that can show a business buyer that your business is going to continue to run and produce income, both revenue and profit, after it's been sold, that's how you could achieve maximum value. Now, the other reason why you want to start working on your business exit a lot more in advance, 1 to 3 years ideally, is because, as you know, as an entrepreneur, it takes time to implement changes. So things don't happen immediately in 1 month. Yes, sometimes you can tweak an ad, sometimes you can tweak a landing page, and it can make some good, have a good impact. But we're talking about changing the way that your business actually is run. And that takes anything from 3 to 6 months, sometimes even up to 12 months in really big changes. So because of the time that it takes to implement some of these changes, the earlier you start working on them now, the better it is that you could be able to show the results of that over a long period of time. So working on your business in advance is what you need to start doing if you want to sell in the next 12, 24, 36 months, maybe even longer than that. As long as you want to exit, you want to exit, start working on building your business in the right way now. Now, the number one thing that drives valuation is revenue and profit, and ideally high gross margins, or at least margins which are in line with industry standards, or at least beating industry standards. Business buyers, they're looking at your accounts. The first thing that any good business buyer wants to receive from you is your accounts. There are so many businesses that are discounted immediately because either they don't have good financials or they have messy financials that people don't know how to read. Look at your accounts right now, and are you able to understand all of the elements of your accounts? We're talking about your full yearly accounts. We're talking about your quarterly and your monthly management accounts. Are you able to understand them? Now, even if you are able to understand them, then is someone who's not you, meaning someone who's looking at your business from the outside, are they also able to understand them? Because if they are, then they can start making sense of your business, and it just makes it much more easier for them to assess exactly what they're putting their money into. And therefore, if they have confidence in your financials, they will automatically start putting a higher valuation without realizing. Why? Because they can see clean financials, they can make an assumption, and they can start putting a multiple on that. So if you haven't got good financials that you can't read or you don't understand, that's one of the first things that you want to start fixing as well. Because again, any good business buyer, whether they're private equity, whether they're a big strategic player, whether they're a competitor, they're going to look at least the last 3 years of your accounts. Now, if you're a new company, like a lot of marketing companies, they start up, at least if you can show minimum 1 to 2 years worth of good accounts, that's when buyers will have confidence that yes, this business, I'm able to read the growth of this company and the story of this company from its inception to where it is today. The other thing that business buyers are looking for is the ability of a business to continue to produce income. So as long as you can show, ideally from an existing management team that's not you, that the business can continue to produce both revenue and profit over a long period of time, predictably. So that goes into, have you got your marketing in line? Have you got your sales in line? Are you able to fulfill on your product or your service delivery? And if you are, because they're the basic areas of obviously operating the business. And if you're able to do that, then the business buyer knows that, right, this business that is on sale, this business that is being exited, it has a predictable way to produce revenue and produce income and produce profit. And the higher margin that you have on your income, the better it is. The biggest valuations, the biggest multiples always happen when there's a consistent revenue source and also the margins are high, ideally beating the industry standard. Now, of course, when we're talking about revenue sources or revenue types, the gold standard is recurring revenue. If you've got any type of recurring revenue in your business, ideally payments which are being collected automatically, that is the gold standard, and you're going to get the biggest valuations just based on that one fact. The next level of that is if you've got contract income, meaning you've got contract in place with your customers. Many marketing agencies have that. Of course, SaaS is a recurring product. It's just billed automatically every single month. That is the gold standard. But the next one is project work, or contract work, I should say, not project work, contract work. That if you've got a 6-month, a 12-month, a 24-month contract in place with the business and they are actually paying on time, which receivables is another area, of course, which I'll get to now, in fact, in a second, is that is going to also be the next level down from automatic billing. If you're doing project work, that is also okay, but you're not going to get the multiples on your profit that you would get from recurring revenue, ideally automatic collection of payments, or contract work. Now, coming to receivables, you have to be able to show that your business can collect the money that is due from your customers. So if you're allowing your customers to go over the time that they're due to pay, let's say, for example, you've got a 30-day invoice in place and business owners or your customers are actually taking 60 days or 90 days, that's also going to be a red flag when business buyers are looking at your business. So if you want to exit, get your revenue in contract if you haven't got it in automatic payments. And if you even haven't got it in contract, make sure that your customers are paying you within the terms of your invoicing terms. So as long as ideally 30 days or less. If it starts going over 30 days, there's question marks that are being raised. Now, really, you should never have any terms with your customers that are over 30 days. So if you're currently if you're currently invoicing customers and expecting payments after 60 days, you need to fix that right now. Now, after good revenue, profit, and good profit margins and the ability to collect cash, the next thing that a business buyer is looking at that you need to start engineering now is making yourself independent from the operations of the business. Now, when I'm working with clients, then I'm working on one of 3 levels of exits, essentially. The first type is an operational exit, which is when you are exiting the day-to-day of the business. You go from operator to a strategic owner. So strategic owner is that you're still managing the business, but you're taking a backseat from day-to-day operations. At that level, being a strategic owner and operationally exiting the business, you can still sell your business, but you won't get the best value. The next type of exit is going from strategic exit to becoming a shareholder of your business. And that is ideal because you're no longer managing the business, and any business buyer who's looking at buying your business is going to really look at that favorably. I've made acquisitions in the past and also helped with exits in which the owners are shareholders and they always get sold the fastest, they get sold the easiest, and there's less question marks. That's what you want from your business exit. So the ability to sell without answering a million questions about who's going to run what and how and why. So that's going from strategic owner to shareholder. And once you're a shareholder, it's very, very easy to do a full exit, which is selling the business to private equity, to a strategic buyer, to a bigger business who's going to pay you a great multiple and give you the payday of your life. Now, when it comes down to having a management team in place, you want to show minimum 1 year of results of your management team managing the business in accounts. So really so what does that mean? That means really and truly you should be getting your management team in place about 2 years before you want to exit. And the reason for that is because you've got your management team in place, they start making the decisions, they start running the business operations, and then the result of that is produced in the year-end accounts and the management accounts. Then you've got the management accounts which are being produced, and that's what you can present to any investor who's looking to buy your business. Say, look, my management team has been running my business for 18 months to 24 months, and these are the results that we can see in the accounts. Remember, they're clean financials. So that's what you show to a buyer, and that's when you will be able to get a good multiple and a good valuation on your business. Now, when it comes down to having a management team in place, it's not just about having a management team, it's about having an entire business that runs without you. The biggest problem that I see when it comes down to business owners who want to exit their business is that most of the business lives up there in their head, or at least lives in the head of a few people. And that is not a great place to be. There's certain things that you can do, ideally putting SOPs in place that can ensure that your ideas of running your business are taken from your head and actually documented in some way that can produce a reliable and a running business. Now, there's a higher level than that on making a business independent of you, but there's no time in this video to go over that. The bottom line is that once you've made one of these exits, operational exit, strategic exit, and become a shareholder, you'll be ready to do a full exit. But more importantly than that, you'll have options. Because once you're out of the day-to-day, you can start making decisions on how you want to live your life as a business owner. Do you want to continue to own the business, but you're not in the business anymore? Or do you want to have a full exit? That's the place that you want to be. But that happens with design, it happens with engineering, and it happens with work that's put in earlier so you can live the life that you want later. Another thing that you want to look at when you're designing your business for sale is that having a clear customer avatar and understanding your position in the marketplace for your customers. So why is it that customers are choosing you over 100 competitors that you're dealing with? If you're a firm which is doing lead gen or email marketing, or you're doing Facebook ads or Google ads or any type of ads, why are they choosing you over someone else? That's a clear question that you need to ask. If, for example, you've got a retail store, then why are they coming to your retail store over anyone else? As long as you can explain that and you can have a clear customer avatar of why customers are choosing you over your competitors, then that will give the buyer a narrative in their mind that, okay, this business is something that operates in the marketplace, in a crowded marketplace, but it's able to differentiate itself from its competitors. Ultimately, understanding your business brand and how it stands out in the marketplace is doing the next thing, which is your business becomes the product. So your branding, your operations, your finances, your income, your profit becomes the product that the business buyer is buying. So when you want to sell your business, especially to private equity, especially to a bigger business, less so with competitors, but with bigger businesses, they're looking at your business like a product. So just like you are selling your service or your product into the marketplace, you're trying to polish it and package it in a way that is understandable to the customer. That's the same thing that needs to be done to a business. So how is a business being packaged and polished as a product that can be sold to a customer? That's what M&A advisors do all day. Business brokers don't really do it, but M&A advisors and investment bankers are packaging your business as a product and putting it in front of the right people so that you can achieve the value that you deserve. Whether you've been building your business for 2 years, 3 years, or whether you've been building your business for 20 years or 30 years, as long as you're able to show a business buyer that this is the value that it produces this revenue and this income, meaning profit, without the owner, in with the management team, and it's easy to understand and it's got clear positioning in the marketplace, your business becomes something which is desirable and people will pay for that. Think of your business as a luxury item. If you're able to package your business as a luxury item, then you will get the luxury prices, meaning the high multiples on your exit. So the next steps for you is that you have to start designing your business, but you have to understand what kind of exit you want. Now you have to get out the day-to-day of the operations of the business. That's absolutely necessary. The operational exit is absolutely necessary. But whether you land as a strategic owner or whether you become a shareholder, it's going to give you options. And those options are so important because it's going to give you the option to say no. If a business buyer comes along and they want to buy your business for a price which doesn't match what you want to achieve on your outcome, then you have the power to say no. But of course, you have to operate within a certain framework. So understand the profit of your business, understand the revenue of your business, understand your marketplace, understand the kind of multiples that your business sells for. And then only then you can start aiming for the higher multiples, you can start aiming for the exit that you want. Start designing your business for an exit now. Click the link in the description and continue watching videos on this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.